And so we will take it through those processes that I've explained. If your case is dismissed, we will inform you and give you the reasons why the case cannot be investigated by the Commission. That is, if you have no mandate, if you have a mandate, but there is no evidence, which you are expected to also assist in bringing the evidence, you are informed that your case is out. If we have made findings that are holding somebody culpable of any liability, it's either to report to his employer, that is if it's an officer, private or public. If it is an organization, we can hold the organization itself accountable. We can, even to the extent that it is about conduct of officers or anybody, we can let you know that that conduct you have done is problematic. Then you are given a time within which to implement what the Commission has determined. If you don't, we go for enforcement in a court of law. You don't need to pay for the services of the Commission whatsoever. By law, we are supposed to do our investigations of all cases free of charge. So any person, any Ghanaian, any person in Ghana who thinks that there is a basis for bringing a complaint to the Commission can do so without paying anything.
The Sun Model simulation exercise for firefighters within the Greater Accra Region Command has ended at the regional headquarters. At the last demonstration for officers from 4 other stations, the regional commander ACFO1 Roberta Agriganson said the educative exercise will enable the fire stations to change or update their contingency plans.
The 5 weeks Sun Model simulation exposed the officers from the various fire stations to the benefits of teamwork in an emergency. The various scenarios focused on a likely incident to occur within their vicinity. For the last batch, they were to assume that a bagged road vehicle BRV carrying 53 tons of substance with identification number UN1075 was conveying the product from Accra and to be delivered at a sales outlet at Kofi Krom in the central region. While negotiating a curve at KNT, a densely populated central business district, the BRV fell on its side, which buried the delivery outlet of the tank, making it impossible to siphon its contents. The driver and his mates got strapped in the vehicle, whilst a motorbike rider with a passenger and a driver of a saloon car were severely injured. The driver of the saloon car had a spine injury, while the passenger on the motorbike fell off and was unconscious. Due to the impact of the fall on the ground, the rear side of the tank had a defect, causing a leakage of the substance. This incident occurred in the peak hours of a working day where business activities were brisk. Traffic was at gridlocks and people were seen rushing to the scene. With the Sun Model, Team Charlie was to assume it to be the incident ground while performing the role as incident respondents. Looking at the dense population of the area and commercial activities, how would the team handle the situation? Play the role as the fire master control? And which agencies are they expected in the scenario? Indicates the role of various agencies and logistical needs should the event be a protracted one.
This has actually sharpened our mind so very much. It has taught us how to handle situations with care, and it has taught us not to jeopardize with anyone's life, because it is one of our core mandates to protect lives and properties, and anything life is very paramount to us and to everyone as well. So this is of great essence and importance to us. We've learned a lot.
The Deputy Director of Operations, DO1 Joseph Forsen, touched on the performance of the firefighters.
In any major incident, the first 20 minutes is chaos, but they were able to manage the 20 minutes and then they called for assistance. And again, in every major incident, there was what we call LIP, that is life safety, incident stability, and then property protection. That is what they did. However, there were some gaps.
With the corrections and updates of the firefighters, this the regional commander ACFO1 Alberta Agui-Gansin believes it will ensure quality service delivery to the nation.
All of them have done well. They are going back to do the needed corrections, and a day will be set aside for a real competition, and that is when that performance appraisal can be given.
The Batch 5 officers, known as Team Charlie, were drawn from the industrial area, Accra City Dansoman and Kolebu fire stations. The next exercise is expected to commence within the last quarter of 2023. Making education accessible to migrant children is a step towards preparing them for future integration into the economic and labor market. Has Ghana put in place adequate interventions for migrants to acquire lifelong learning opportunities? GBC News' Oforiwa Dakum takes a look at the increasing trend of migration and how education can be accessible to young migrants in Ghana.
For coming is not just one, but it's a multiplicity of factors. So usually it's poverty, and these days we have climate change, and so perhaps there is drought, there is intensive farming. For the pulling factors, the opportunities in Ghana, people find Ghana as a place where they could find better livelihoods.
25-year-old Abdullahi is a labor migrant from Niger. He's an asylum seeker who has been in Ghana for the past 4 years.
My brother here, my papa is Niger. Ghana is good.
Now, the number of people migrating to Ghana has surpassed the number who left. There are many of the migrants in Ghana who struggle to make a living by engaging in menial jobs, whereas others survive on the streets as beggars. These migrant beggars are mostly children who have the endorsement of either their parents or caretakers to flaunt themselves on passers-by. Some few meters away from the major city center, their car shopping mall, 3 young migrants were spotted begging for money. Eli, who is 11 years, claims Hawa, a 10-year-old migrant, is his sister who helps him to make more money on the streets.
Every day I get 5 cedi, I get 20. Then 1 cedi, 5 cedi, 20. If I get 20, I get 20.
For most of these young migrants, education is a last resort since making money on the streets is much more important to them. Eli said they can only go to school if his mother decides to take them back to Mali. These young migrants are among many asylum seekers in Ghana who are out of school. On the other hand, some officials in the education sector say some migrants prefer their children are in school than to be on the streets. Madam Eva Edna Bani, the headmistress of Nima One Basic School in Accra, said some young migrants are brought to the school to be enrolled, but the issue of language barrier always hinders effective teaching and learning.
Sometimes parents may bring certain children for admission, and if you talk to that child, you realize the child is not responding. Since that child has mingled with those who can speak the English language, with time, that child will pick up because she will be eager to communicate and then play with his or her peers.
Dr. Daniel Owusu-Chireko is the Assistant Professor of Education and Social Justice at the University of York in the UK.
With migrants coming from Nigeria, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Niger, they come with their own characteristics and their own cultures. When people migrate, they do migrate with their culture, their religion, their language, and these do have implications on the educational systems in Ghana.
A young Nigerian from Osho State, Joshua Kwam Tejuden, is a JHS 3 student at Babies News Montessori and JHS in Accra. Joshua is currently in Ghana with his younger sister who also attends school in the country.
I've been in school like 2 years and a half now. 2 years, almost 2 years. When I get to the school, the English is different. I don't really get the English. Sometimes when I'm really good patient, I find it difficult to spell something getting late. I don't have any problem with it again. I really miss anything like teaching back from the rest of them. They all treated it well.
The English was kind of difficult for me when I first got to it. Like, it is different from what we speak in Nigeria. Some of my friends in class, I think they were teaching me, letting me to know, I was getting it creative, but some of them mocked me. If I see something, they said, this is not how, instead of they should correct me, they'll be laughing at me.
Alberta Dazi is a Ghanaian teacher who has been teaching young migrants for the past years. She shares how the journey has been so far.
The fun thing, like the Ghanaian language that we have been doing in this baby school Montessori, because they don't understand our language, it's very difficult for them to cope with it. And we are friends too, because the way they talk, their tonation, sometimes is difficult for them.
Touching on the issue of migrants and streetism in Ghana, an educationist, Mr. Anis Safar, said that all stakeholders should come together to find appropriate ways to deal with the problem.
The bigger picture of the refugee and the migrant agencies is that they have to be the adults in the room and begin to look at how they can sort themselves out in structures, in administration. That will really bring people in. If you wait for people to come to you, it will never happen. That's why it hasn't happened.
Being a country of origin, transit, and destination for migration flows, the migration dynamics of Ghana are complex. The director of the Center for Migration Studies at the University of Ghana, Professor Meribot Masachona, shared her views about young migrants in Ghana who survives on major streets, especially in Accra.
The good news is that in Ghana they can go to school, because our educational system says free education. It doesn't mention whether you're Ghanaian or not. And so they can have access to basic education if they want to. But will these children want to go to school? That's another question.
While the government's effort is much needed to strengthen migration policies in the country, some experts say it behooves stakeholders in the migration sector to collaborate with the government to build strong partnerships to deal with migration inflows related issues to help promote the well-being and development of migrants in Ghana. For GBC News, Ofei Wadako.
With a theme empowered for service, the Women's Wing, Ladies of the Fellowship, is asking women to leave a legacy worth emulating to other women and the youth. At the ongoing World Convention of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International in Accra, the National Ladies Coordinator, Mrs. Matilda Misatha, further extended an open invitation to all women to join the fellowship.
It is the Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International, but women play a key role in pushing forward this global Christ-centered organization in the marketplace. The female variant of the Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International is the Ladies of Fellowship. In Ghana, the National Ladies Coordinator of the Women's Wing is Mrs. Matilda Emisa-Arthur, wife of former Vice President Dr. Kwesi Emisa-Arthur.
In 2012, the now international president, who was the international treasurer then, said Ghana wanted to reprint The Happiest People on Earth, and if I could edit for them. In my work as an editor, it's purely professional. With pen and paper or whatever, I go to work. With The Happiest People on Earth, that didn't happen. I found myself reading the book and enjoying it. Not only enjoying it, learning from it, and encouraged by it. And that was when I made the decision to join the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship.
After going through this transformation, she extended an invitation to other like-minded women to join the fellowship.
This fellowship has a lot for us women. It will make you a better woman. It will make you a better wife. It will make you a better mother. It will make you a better version of yourselves. Coming to join this fellowship is very simple. Most of the time we think it's a men's fellowship. For those ladies here who are not members of the fellowship, I invite you that when the call is made, asking for people to come and join, do not hesitate, because it takes just a little decision, whether you are a Christian or not, to change your life.
A renowned South African entrepreneur and minister of the gospel, Dr. Pearl Coupe, charged women to lead a legacy.
We are empowered for service, but we're also empowered to give a legacy. It's important that we understand that we serve a generational God. He does things generationally for longevity. And as God is calling us to be empowered for service in this season,
First Lady Mrs. Rebecca Ekufuado was officially inducted into the fellowship.
I have the honor and the privilege to present our beloved First Lady of the Republic of Ghana with our pin on this special day. To God be the glory.
Full Gospel Business Men's Fellowship International is the largest global non-denominational organization of Christian businessmen, professionals, leaders, merchants, military men, among others.
It's the news live on GBC News and GTV. Defending champions, Kanda Estate 1 Basic School emerged winners of the second edition of the Ayawaso East Municipal Education Festival held in Accra. The festival seeks to improve the reading skills of pupils, as it is one of the measures identified by the Directorate to help improve learners' performance. It was held on the theme, Learn to Read, Read to Learn.
In their home, keywords: iron, electricity, wires, electricity. Some call me power. I am a
6 schools from different circuits, ranging from Basic 1 to Basic 3, participated in the reading festival held at the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Hope Congregation, Nima. The schools were Our Lead Comprehensive Basic School, Flagstaff House Basic School, St. Kizito Roman Catholic Basic School, Kanda Estate 1 Basic School, 37 Military Basic School, and Tapseliya Islamic Basic. They contested in listening comprehension, reading comprehension, read aloud, spelling bee, pick an act, and the act of mother and child. The event was to help the students improve on their reading and writing skills and also expand their knowledge base. The Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East, Mr. Nasser Turu Mahama, emphasized the importance of reading and appealed to parents to invest in the education of their children.
Yes, the parents will encourage them, please. They should invest on their children. Invest, especially my community. I do tell them, please, whatever you have, these kids we are seeing today, they are the future of tomorrow. They are the future of tomorrow. Whatever you have and you invest in them, tomorrow you will see the benefits.
The Municipal Director of Education for Ayawaso East, Madam Madiza Tassa, said pupils in the municipality had difficulty in reading and writing, which often leads to poor outcomes during examinations. Hence, they need to tailor a program to improve on their skills.
It was a dream brought by learning of USH. They were our partners. So they brought about reading festival last year, and we saw that it is good. So we in the Ayawaso East decided to make it an annual event, and that is what is happening today. And seriously, I must commend the children. They were answering some challenging questions. They were able to spell certain words that I may say is even above their age. That shows that there is improvement. That shows that the reading festival we have started has had a very positive impact on our learners, and it is something that we dream to maintain.
At the end of the competition, defending champions, Kanda Estate 1 Basic School emerged winners. They were presented with a certificate and other awards.
Ayawaso East Municipal came second last year in the Regional Reading Festival and is aiming to grab the first position this year. The organizers assured parents, pupils and teachers that the Reading Festival has come to stay. Some learning materials were distributed to the schools to improve on teaching and learning.
Still on education, 50 basic schools from the Eastern, Greater Accra and the Volta regions competed in the Community Development Challenge by the University of Environment and Sustainable Development at Somania in the Eastern region. The best innovative and creative contestants whose works on plastic waste recycling had the potential to make the greatest impact on the environment were honored.
Contestants created their works based on the theme Plastics Recovery Project, Innovation for Environment, Sustainability and Stewardship. The committee took into consideration creativity, relevance of the designs, level of skill, commitment to sustainable development, innovativeness, level of involvement or participation, creativity, and neatness in the presentation of the final product. The second Development Challenge Awards by the University of Environment and Sustainable Development saw 50 basic schools in the Eastern, Greater Accra and the Volta regions participating.
Regional environmental officers should be actively involved in the program. Their expertise and guidance can contribute to the educational aspects of the exhibits and provide valuable insights on environmental conservation. Collaborating with these officers will strengthen the program's impact and raise awareness about environmental issues among the participants.
Of the 50 schools that participated, 20 were shortlisted. The winning schools demonstrated commitment to sustainable development through the cleanliness of its immediate environment. The best schools and districts were also awarded. The best performing schools went to the Anyaboni LC Basic in Somania, followed by Methodist School and Mount Mary Demonstration LCGHS. Meanwhile, the best performing districts went to the Upper Manya District, followed by Okre District and Yellow Krobo Municipality. In other categories, Somania Methodist GHS received the Best Essay Award, Nifa DA Basic School, Best Innovative Product, and Anyaboni RC Basic School, the Best Poster. The Regional Director for Community Development, Mrs. Lamile Alote, affirmed government's commitment to reduce drastically the use of plastics through the implementation of the legislation on plastic waste. The Director of STEM at the Ghana Education Service, Mrs. Olivia Sewal-Pare, who represented the Minister for Education, said the Ghana Education Service will introduce innovative ideas to include proper disposal of plastics or redesigning and recycling plastic waste into the national educational programs. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, Professor Eric Nyako Sampson, urged the public to cultivate the habit of reducing, reusing, redesigning and recycling plastic products, which he believes is one of the surest ways of reducing plastic pollution.
For the sake of future generations, these young ones who we are working with, we must reduce, reuse, rethink, and redesign to beat plastic pollution. Going around this morning, I was filled with admiration and pride as I witnessed the creativity, problem-solving, critical thinking, and collaborative skills displayed by the students of the participating schools throughout this year's challenge, and the kind of innovative artifacts they have produced.
The Paramount Chief and others of the Yellow Krobo traditional area, Nene Anoba Sasraku and Sakite, commended the university for the initiative.
News hour returns shortly with the rest of the news. Please stay with us. In business tonight, 63 lucky EcoBank Ghana Limited customers will have their salaries doubled in the second EcoBank double salary promotion reloaded draw. The head of consumer products at EcoBank Ghana, Madam Kate Thompson, urged the bank's customers to remain loyal to EcoBank to reap the benefit from its numerous packages.
The EcoBank Double Salary Promotion Reloaded rewards the bank's customers for their loyalty by multiplying salaries of customers 18 years and above who receive their salaries of not less than 200 cedis either through their bank current savings or salary accounts. The first edition of the promotion had 240 customers win double the value of their paychecks in 3 draws. The second edition of the draw was held in Sunyani and conducted in collaboration with the National Lottery Authority under its Caritas Lottery platform. After several rounds of draws, 63 lucky customers from across the country were picked and will have their salaries doubled, tripled, and quadrupled. Speaking to the media after the draw, the head of consumer product at EcoBank Ghana, Madam Kate Thompson, said the promotion has been tailor-made to suit the needs of their customers.
We want to let our customers know that we have customers all over Ghana, and we need to ensure that all our customers feel that we are part of what they do. The Bongo region, which is this region, and Sunyani in particular, we have a branch here. We need to ensure that they know the brand EcoBank, they know that we have a product for them, and they know that when it comes to banking, EcoBank would be the best choice for them to come to, and that is why we decided to come here. And we also know that we have quite a number of universities set up in Sunyani, and we have our students growing up to be salaried workers, so it is best for us to let them know so that as they move into the salary world or as they move into the employment world, they know where to buy.
Under this promotion, customers also had a chance to win consolation prizes. In addition, the account holders were entitled to several benefits, including free life insurance of up to 10,000 Ghana cedis, the ability to save as they spend, a free debit card, no minimum balance, no card maintenance fee, as well as mobile and internet banking services. She therefore encouraged existing customers to continue banking with them to benefit from these goodies.
This product has made it very simple for customers, where you come in to open an account, but you go back home with other benefits that you haven't thought of. And therefore, I would say that bank with EcoBank. EcoBank is a strong bank. EcoBank is a bank that cares for its customers. EcoBank is a customer that makes sure that they dedicate time to research into what customers need, and at the end of the day, make sure that the solutions actually give them benefits. And then we have that mutually beneficial relationship.
The EcoBank Double Salary Promotion Reloaded is expected to end by the end of July 2023.
MTN Ghana paid about 4 billion Ghana cedis in tax to government last year. In addition, the company invested 210 million Ghana cedis as counterpart funding in government's rural telecommunication project to get all communities connected to telecommunication services. Chief Enterprise Business Officer of MTN, Daniel Lasare, disclosed this at a media and stakeholder forum in Kumasi.
MTN Media and Stakeholder Meeting is an annual event that offers the company the opportunity to update customers on the state of the company. MTN Ghana is a leader in Ghana's telecommunications industry with over 28.6 million subscribers and counting. MTN Ghana leads the data markets with 13.5 million subscribers as of December 2022. The company also is the leader of the mobile money market with 21 partner banks and about 12.7 million active users of MTN Mobile Money. The Chief Enterprise Business Officer of MTN Ghana, Mr. Daniel Asare, said his outfit is still expanding its services to ensure quality delivery.
In the past 3 or 4 months, we introduced the SIM swap API. So my friend was talking about Momo fraud, and we realized that most of them are on the digital channels. Now they are targeting the banks and online platform. So what the SIM swap API does is, if you want to do any digital transaction, they're able to check. In fact, the banks have set a threshold to say, if this person who is trying to do this has changed the SIM, the past 24 hours decline the transaction. Let him come and do a physical verification. And we've had millions of transactions in the past 2 months, and he's been able to stop some of these fraudsters from going through the digital one.
Despite the strong year-on-year growth, MTN says it is confronted with many challenges, amongst them frequent tampering of its underground and overhead cables by individuals and contractors executing construction works.
In the past, there were certain things that if you have to do it, like the cable here, you have to connect the cable all the way to the other part before you're able to do the service. With the API is remote, you can connect two applications, just access to internet for each person, or a VPN somewhere, you're able to connect it.
Also in business, World Bank Managing Director in charge of operations, Ms. Anna Biede, has said that Ghana's energy sector needs emergency attention if sustainability must be ensured. Speaking to journalists in Accra, she noted that Ghana's energy situation will worsen if desperate measures are not taken. Much attention, according to her, should be paid to billing and revenue collection.
Madame Anna Biede is wrapping up her 3-day visits to Ghana. She comes to the country at a time Ghana is going through one of the worst economic turmoils, partly driven by huge debts in the energy sector. According to Fitch Ratings, the energy sector represents the largest driver of Ghana's national debts, with the country owing independent power producers a staggering $1.58 billion. World Bank Managing Director in charge of operations, Madame Anna Biede, wants an SOS approach to dealing with the country's energy problem.
The problems that Ghana are experiencing are not unique to Ghana, but they are very serious. Because if they're not addressed, they will actually continue to get worse and worse and worse. Losses, once they get up to the levels that Ghana has, both financial losses and losses in the network itself, if not arrested and addressed with really an emergency action plan, will get worse, and it will cost the state more to keep the energy sector running at a time when they need to spend money on other things, and it wastes, because this energy that's lost actually should be energy that is consumed and properly paid for and so forth. So,
alternatively, and in the long term, the World Bank boss wants Ghana to shift to renewables.
And one very exciting area we talked about is actually starting to shift from conventional energy to renewable energy. We see huge potential in solar energy, for example. And around the world, what we have seen is when countries shift to renewable energy, you do need to make the commensurate investments also then in transmission equipment, because it requires investments to be able to accommodate renewable energy technology. But what we see is that you all of a sudden get a very big new business line in services for renewable energy, which stimulates growth.
The World Bank Country Director, Mr. Pierre Laporte, has said the bank will help Ghana to raise domestic revenue from the current level of 13% to GDP to a targeted 20%. As Finance Minister Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta prepares to present the mid-year budget on July 25th, Mr. Laporte said the bank is also looking at expenditure rationalization.
Fiscal measures.
Fiscal measures. Yeah, there are various fiscal measures, and the IMF and ourselves, we are working very closely to support government in that regard. For instance, in the budget support being discussed, I cannot go into much detail yet, but I can tell you one of the pillars of the support is to help Ghana raise its level of domestic revenue mobilization, which at the moment is really relatively low compared to certain norms and the convergence criteria of ECOWAS, of the regional criteria. So one of the things, for instance, is we've always said it, the level of exemptions in Ghana is high. Figures have been floated from the fund, from ourselves. Several percentage of GDP could be gained if Ghana is to relook at its regime in terms of tax exemption. But then there are other kind of measures which, again, we're still discussing, so I cannot go into the details. It will come out once everything is approved. But we're also looking at on the expenditure side to make sure not just that, it's not about cutting spending. It's about making spending efficient and impactful. So what we're doing is
The Engineering Council and the Ghana Standards Authority are collaborating to ensure that the personnel and materials used in the construction industry meet international standards. This move, according to the Ghana Standards Authority, would curtail the increasing collapse of buildings in the country. A committee was inaugurated to spearhead this agenda.
Ghana has been building without a comprehensive building code since independence. Essentially, it was a free-for-all in the building and construction industry without clearly defined standards until the launch of the building code in 2018 to ensure that the human resource used in the building industry practice according to world-class standards and also use materials that are at par with that of the international markets. The Ghana Standards Authority is collaborating with the Engineering Council to ensure that the construction industry in Ghana is built on standardization. The board chair of the Engineering Council, EC, Dr. Kwame Boakye, said the EC, among other things, is to collaborate with the GSA to promote public education on engineering practices and the use of engineering products.
And we moved from that state of unconscious incompetence. We were not even talking to each other. So both of us were in the state of unconscious incompetence. Then we started talking and discovered that there's a lot that we need to do together. And in fact, we executed an MOU that moved us into the state of conscious incompetence.
The Director General of the Ghana Standards Authority, Professor Alex Dodu, said the GSA and the Engineering Council feel liable whenever a building collapses in Ghana.
The Engineering Council is regulating engineering professionals or practitioners from craftsmen all the way to engineers. The Standards Authority is regulating products used in the engineering industry. And our intention and our plan is that we must protect the country. Indeed, any building that collapses, any building that falls, anybody who dies from this, whether we like it or not, both the Standards Authority and Engineering Council feel professionally liable, because at the end of the day, that is why the citizen pays taxes, to ensure that state agencies like the Engineering Council and the Standards Authority will work to protect them.
Just recently, on July 5, 2 people were confirmed dead after a single uncompleted story building collapsed on them on Tuesday, July 4 at Amanfrom Assembly, a suburb of Amanfrom in the Ga South Municipality. The owner of the building was said to have died instantly, whilst another incident occurred on Wednesday morning.
We have updates from across our borders after this break.
In international news, Southern Europe will continue to swelter next week as an intense heat wave shows no sign of abating. Italy, Spain, and Greece have been experiencing high temperatures for several days in the past days. The Italian Health Ministry issued a red alert for 16 cities, including Rome, Bologna, and Florence for the weekend. The heat wave is expected to continue well into next week, with 48 degrees Celsius predicted in Sardinia. In Spain, a forest fire on the island of La Palma has forced the evacuation of at least 500 people. Periods of intense heat wave occur within natural weather patterns, but globally they are becoming more frequent, more intense, and are lasting longer due to global warming. Last month was the hottest June on record, according to the European Union's climate monitoring service, Copernicus. Rescuers in South Korea are struggling to reach cars trapped in a flooded tunnel following days of heavy rain. It is unclear how many people are trapped, but about 19 vehicles are reported to be in tunnels in North Changcheong province. Across the country, at least 22 people are known to have been killed and another 14 missing. Most of the fatalities were in the mountainous areas where landslides swept away houses. Thousands of people have been affected by the evacuation orders issued by various local governments. The Korea Meteorological Administration forecast more rainfall through to Wednesday next week. It warned that the weather conditions pose a grave danger. Extreme rains has caused floods and landslides across several countries, including India, China, and Japan, over the past fortnight. While many factors contribute to flooding, scientists say a warming atmosphere caused by climate change makes extreme rainfall more likely. We have sports up next.
The Black Queens opened their Paris 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers on a winning note. They beat the female Silly Nationals of Guinea 3-0 in Conakry on Friday. Head coach of the Black Queens, Nora Hotel, says they will do more in the return leg.
Diana J. Kunedu, Doris Bredua, and Evelyn Bedu scored for the Queens in the encounter. The result means the Black Queens are one step away from the second round of the qualifiers. Head coach of the side, Nora Huple, praised her team for adopting in Conakry despite numerous challenges before and during the game.
We had a good start in the Olympic qualifiers. We won this game 3-0. We arrived here. Had some issues before the game, so the game needed to postpone 1 hour later, but we always adapt to all those challenges. I think in the beginning we also needed to get a bit attached to this very difficult grass here. It's a very bumpy pitch when you are on it, but step by step we entered into the game. We had a very stable start. I think the score should have been in the end much higher when you have the chances. We have the XG factor, so the rate out of these chances was a bit low. But all in all, very stable. We worked in the defense, good on the long ball, second ball, so we had a good analysis of the opponent, and I think we didn't let them enter into nearly any chances. So in the end, I'm very satisfied. We are looking forward to travel home to Ghana, and of course having the second leg at home.
The return leg is scheduled for the Accra Sports Stadium on Tuesday, July 18, 2023.
The Strategic Engineering Experience Drive Afrique, Seed Afrique, has collaborated with the Assembly member of Abelempi Electoral Area and Ghana Cycling Federation to stage the first kids cycling and school cycling project. The one-day event is aimed at developing potential cyclists from the grassroots level.
The Abelempi Community 2 School near the taxi rank was the starting point for the first publicity ride under the school cycling project. More than 60 children participated. The assemblyman for the Abelempi electoral area, Mr. Teddy Kui Beidu, said the event was timely.
This project is about trying to get the kids on board, try to let them know that it's not only about football or it's not only about any other sports, but we can also do at least biking as well. It's for a lot of exercises. The youth are very happy. You can see at least our turnout is very great. We've been able to manage a lot of students. We'll catch them young and try and train them, because we have gotten a lot of experience here. A lot of people who are much exposed to biking, who will also come and train them at least like time to time, so that we'll have more of our cyclists in the nation.
Some professional cyclists present, namely Christiana Lamte and Mr. Ebenezer Osafuano, were happy at the initiative.
I started young and then I've reached here. So I will encourage them. It's a nice exercise. It's a lovely thing. If you are to join, you love it. Cycling is an exercise thing that everybody must do it. After cycling, you feel life it's easy. You are calm, the body is calm, everything is calm.
Cycling improves the IQ, because making decision on a bicycle is 1 second divided by 90. So you are always thinking very fast. And so if we encourage our children to go biking, we are not only helping them to exercise, they are also taking quick decisions which will improve their academics in school. It also boosts their immune system, and so no sicknesses whilst on the bike. You can see I'm biking all the time, and I look healthy. I'm 50 and still growing.
An official from the Ghana Cycling Federation who flagged off the race encouraged the young cyclists to follow safety provisions in place. With the help of the Ghana Police Service, the children rode through some principal streets of the Abelempi community. After the event, some riders shared their experiences.
I really enjoyed it. Today I've enjoyed the fun ride. I want to be a professional rider.
A co-founder of Seed Afrique, the organizers of the Kids Cycling School Project, Mr. Billy James Kofi Dega, said the event is part of the climate change agenda, where the youth are being encouraged to take to biking more in their daily activities.
We are looking at cycling being, serving the community in 3. 1, children should bike as a form of transportation. You should also see it as a form of exercise, and on top of it, those who...
That's how we wrap up this bulletin. We thank you for your 1 hour shared with us.
I'll be back at 10:30 with this week a compilation of activities that made headlines during the week. Thank you for watching.